What do you get when you cross a fruit with a shellfish? A crab apple. What's going on, YouTube? The month of September has a ton of PvE farms, including with the Undaunted Celebration event, a lot of ways to maximize your time doing pledges, but there's also the addition of some rare style pages that are going to be available while your cat jumps on you. So we're going to talk about the style pages that you can farm during the month of September, because some of them are worth more than others. And we're also going to go over the other Crown Store items as well, just because we generally do that in the Crown Store video. So we have the Crown Store showcase for the month of September. These are the items that you're able to get, starting with our monthly free item, which is a painting for ESO Plus. We do have some new items though coming. Duchess Ela Dufort, she's going to be a housing guest that can wander your house if you're into that. We have a bundle for this Gloam Sensual. Senshi, it's got a pet, it's got a mount that comes with it. We have some returning items. These are going to be Crown Gem and Seals of Endeavor items. We have this big Incarnate bad boy, Polymorph, which is pretty cool. We have the Bloodroot Wild Senshi, Bloodroot Spriggan. Again, all of these dates, I'm just going to link the article below, though we don't have to go through all the rigmarole here. Then we have the Grat Climbers Activewear. It is there. Unfortunately, they don't have any pictures in this article, so nothing really to reference. But now we're getting to the meat potatoes, which is the crafting and outfit styles portion. We start with the Ancient Dragon Hunter Armor Pack. Now, this is not a monster style associated thing. Those are only arms packs. So for example, the Thruvikin arms pack, that is one, and that is able to be farmed from September 2nd through September 8th. I'm going to do all of the farms at the end of this video, so we're just going to keep it pushing for now. Just make a mental note of that. We have the Greymoor motif that's available the 2nd through the 8th. It's literally always farmable though. Currently, it's an old style, or an old motif, excuse me. So you can literally get that anytime. The Euphoric Gatekeepers Arms Pack, another arms pack, which is another farm September 4th through September 11th. Make a mental note of that. We'll talk about it here at the end. Crown Crafting Motif Ascendant Order is farmable in game. Don't worry about it. We have another armor pack, which you could purchase if you're interested, but it's not something that's farmable to get an associated monster style. The Nazare Arms Pack is another PvE farm that you could do, so make a mental note of that because it's an arms pack. Arms pack will always associate to a dungeon being highlighted and therefore giving bonus loot items. So just put that in the old brain compartments. We have the Ragada style that's available from the 15th to the 22nd. But again, it's been in game. It's an in-game thing that you can get. Malekina into the brain compartments. That's another arms pack. Aldmeri Eagle Knight armor pack. That is it's an armor pack. So that is one that you can be an Aldmeri Eagle Knight armor pack. These armor packs are also not farmable in game. So those are usually what I spend my monthly crowns on. Just something to keep in mind. Sentinel Regal Guard armor pack. Again, another armor pack that will be available from the 22nd through the 29th. Then we have Lambris arms pack, 25th to the 2nd. That is, again, another monster farm that you could do to get the associated rare monster style. Then we have Balorgs, same date, the 25th through the 2nd. Another period of time where not only you can get the associated monster style, but also a great time actually just to get the normal drop for the helmet because people are going to be farming it. Then we have the Dreadhorn style. Skip that. You can already get that in game. Then you have Celine's, the final arms pack. But you can see we're juiced with arms packs. We're going to have to break down all of these because they're all different, obviously. They come from different places. And then we have Sunspire style. Again, already farmable in-game, tradable in-game. Regal Regalia arms pack. These are not tradable in-game unless you buy crowns from another player. So unfortunately, that's where we end with that. So quite a few farms, though, as you may have noticed. We have Panther Fang Chapel returning, my favorite ESO house. Asa Ascentium, another house that's pretty decent. House guest Stephen Mornard. We have the Fargrave Brazier. We have some customizable actions, which, to be fair, this is an adorable action. We got some mounts, Ancient Dragon Hunter Horse, a Sigic Sensual, a Noble Riverhold Lion, a Saber Cat, an Elk of Dread. I wonder what that actually looks like. Ancient Dragon Hunter Wolfpat, Gloomspire Cub, some bundles, Highland Spotted Lynx bundle, and the Hare and Fox bundle. So we got through all the goosey-magoosey stuff. We need to talk about the meat and potatoes, because finally, we have a ton of PvE farms, each of which has differing levels of value. So we're going to break down what this looks like and how it actually works. Because if you're new, You're like, Jake, why are some things highlighted during this time period? This doesn't make sense. If something's in the crown store, something's farmable in a dungeon, I don't understand how these two things connect. So we're going to do that connection. Before we do, hit the like and subscribe button. Let's connect those two concepts. And so let us use the words of ZeniMax to first describe this concept, because usually in the actual articles, they explain what's going on. So here's an example of last month's Engine Guardians arm pack. Now, again, this is not farmable because it's not the August 18th through August 25th time period, but as they say, the matching mask page will have a small chance to drop from the Eponymous box and Veteran Darkshade Caverns 2. That's just the final boss. The matching shoulder can be purchased from Maj Al Rajash for 50 Undaunted keys, or has a chance of dropping from Maj's mystery coffers for 1 key. Having the achievement Deadly Engineer increases the drop chance of both items. So how it works, as they say here, all you need to do is it has a chance to drop from the boss in a Veteran Darkshade Caverns 2. So that every time you kill the final boss, you got a chance to get the style helmet. But how it also works is that if you have the achievement Deadly Engineer, this is just the hard mode clear, you increase your drop chances. But you can also purchase a shoulder, which is a separate item. This does not drop from the dungeon, with 50 Undaunted keys, or has a chance to drop from the mystery coffers. Do not worry if you're confused. We're going to show you an example, because the beautiful thing about what's going on right now is we have some examples. Because look what we have here. We have an arm pack that is already able to be purchased in the crown store, meaning that there is a farm active. There's actually 2 right now, so you're going to see both of these reflected in my discussion. So we're going to use these as an example. We're going to talk first about the style shoulder, because I think it's just an easier concept to grasp as we break down this concept. So this drops from the final boss of Graven Deep. So if I was to farm Graven Deep right now for the next 3 days, so if you're watching this video and you see in the crown store, this is able to be purchased. Every time you farm Graven Deep, you have a chance to get the associated monster mask. Now, it is a rare drop, but if you have the Veteran hard mode clear, you increase the odds of getting that item. But also, you can go and get the shoulder. Now, you might be wondering, why does this vendor have the actual shoulder here at the tippy top? Well, it's because Graven Deep drops from these, pool of dungeons. So when you pick up your pledges, each of these rascals has different dungeons that they will roll for. Pretty much all the DLC ones drop from here. Therefore, if you have a DLC dungeon, you're able to talk to her. And as you can see, there's varying levels of value to these shoulders. This one's worth 207,000. This is worth 961,000. Now, if you roll for the mystery coffer, you have a chance to get these items, in the same sense that you can get all of these items below as well, in addition to some other stuffs like mercenary motifs, jewelry traits, blah, 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 blah. So you can get all of those items as well. So I generally tell people, if you're rolling for the shoulder styles, I would use the mystery coffer. Try to have the hard mode clear, because that will again boost your odds, as we discussed. And you have a chance to fill out your sticker book of very nice and rare monster sets that are DLC driven. And you might be saving yourself some keys, because you're probably not going to use 50 keys to get the style page. It is RNG based. So there is always a chance that the RNG lords don't shine upon you. But at least then, if you're rolling a bunch of keys, you're getting and filling out your sticker book. Now, if you have a ton of Undaunted keys, you could certainly purchase them outright. And you obviously probably want to focus on the shoulders that are worth more, because there's always going to be a discrepancy. Because it sometimes isn't how hard of a farm something is. For example, Graven Deep is pretty annoying to farm. But oftentimes, it just boils down to how cool a monster style looks. So these are the 2 shoulders. Nazarite also comes from Shipwright's Regret. So we have Graven Deep, Shipwright's Regret. But now let's talk about the actual monster styles, the masks themselves, just because get an idea as to how valuable those bad boys are. And here you can see the PC prices for the Euphotic Gatekeeper mask. It's fine. I would say, though, for how long of a dungeon Graven Deep is, it's just not worth it. Shipwright's Regret is literally pretty much in the same vein, so it's kind of like, it's okay. Ironically, the shoulder seems to be really worth most of the value, because this right here is a PC price. I don't mean to keep flip-flopping price checkers, but as always, you can use the price checkers we have in the description of this video to get your proper price check based on whether or not you should do these farms. But For how long these dungeons are, it's really hard to justify the value in the actual masks themselves. Next up, though, is going to be Malakina from September 18th through September 25th. Now, Malakina comes from White Gold Tower, which is actually a pretty good PvE dungeon to farm just on Veteran in general, just because of how valuable it is. But overall, it's not a very valuable monster mask. There is low listings, but obviously, too, that's going to change once it's farmable. This is, again, our PC prices. Let us check the shoulder, and it's worse. Oh my gosh. I've never seen a monster-style shoulder sell for this low. This is not good. Here is a reference photo for you so you can get an idea of what you look like. Very angsty. Then we're going to have the Lambrus Arms Pack. This is probably going to be the easiest dungeon of the ones to farm, but is it worth it? As far as the mask goes, ooh. I mean, this is low and it's not even farmable yet. But the shoulder's a little bit better. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. That's better. Here is a reference for you. You can see that I actually think the shoulder's not that bad, which is probably why it's better than Malakina's, but it still just doesn't retain the value that it needs to be worth as a farm for your keys. But it also drops from Crypt of Hearts 1, which you could probably complete blindfolded while upside down sleeping like a bat. So that's probably part of the problem that it is so cheap. It doesn't look very cool, and you could get it super easily. Next up, though, same dates from the previous one is September 25th through October 2nd. Important to note, not very long to farm, so these are not going to be affected too much by over farming because they're not available for that long. And Battle Orcs actually has some value. You can see that, there's 4 listings right now: 1.8, 1.2, 9 million, 2.25, million. So or 2.225 million. So this is kind of all over the place. Now, if you're ever curious in these price checker apps, you can actually click and you can see their value over time. You can see the listing. You can see how many we're selling. You can see their value over time, which just makes it helpful to plot on a map. As these actually become available too, you can usually also see an increased interest in them because it's kind of odd, the ESO economy. Sometimes when we're thinking about items, they sell more because more people are looking at them, they're thinking about them. And because style pages are not used in crafting, and they're not used, to do like your master writs, people kind of forget about them. And so sometimes that leads to them being valuable literally right before they're able to be farmed again, which is why you see such weird towers in value over these items. But the shoulders, sometimes the shoulders are just not really worth it, in my opinion. This is definitely one of those ones that's not worth it. And so this is the monster set that drops from March of Sacrifice. It's actually really good as a monster set, which drops all the time, obviously. That's always a guaranteed drop. But as a style, I feel like it's probably pretty decent to farm. And you can see, it looks okay. It's got a vibe. It's a unique vibe. I don't really know what's going on with the mouth section here, per se. I almost feel like it would have been better if you just left that off. But, some people probably like it. And then we have Celine's. Now, Celine's is also a pretty decent one to farm, but it's not going to be as valuable. But it's an easier farm to do. So you kind of have to weigh that together. So Celine's is going to drop from the 29th through the 6th. Now, a lot of people might scoff at seeing, 600,000 gold, probably 200,000 to 300,000 gold on console. And I'm sometimes reminded when I read my YouTube comments that that's a lot of gold for a lot of people. And when you have a very affordable dungeon that you can farm and get that value, it's hard to actually turn your nose at it. I was having a conversation with somebody from my YouTube comments, and they were just like, to me, this is life-changing money. And so these shoulders, for example, I actually see a huge range. Again, if you're ever curious, you can use my links below. You can click on them. You can see the value over time. And you can see these shoulders actually are pretty high in value, with their actual highs and lows being in the hundreds of thousands, which is pretty rare for a shoulder. Although I will say the best shoulder is the one that's actually able to be gained in-game right now. The fact that this is almost 1 million gold for a shoulder on console is crazy. So keep that with, in the back of your mind. But as a backup, because this is also going to be after the Undaunted Celebration event, which is going to occur right smack dab in the middle of the month, you're also going to probably have some extra Undaunted keys that you could wait to roll to try to get the Celine's shoulder. Celine's is definitely one of those styles that I think actually looks pretty cool. Give you 10 guesses which dungeon Celine's is associated with. If you guessed Celine's Web, you'd be correct. And it's got the spider vibes to it, but I actually really like the shoulder, in my opinion. I think it's actually a pretty decent looking shoulder. So for me, not a bad option actually to go out and gain. Now the helmet, you can see why the helmet leaves a lot of love to be desired. It's basically just wearing a spider on your head. So not one that the majority of people are probably going to be wearing, but Celine's web is a pretty decently easy to farm dungeon, in my opinion, especially with how power crept we are, you know, in 2025. But we have so many dungeons that are able to be farmed during this month. I think the key ones, probably for most players, if you want to get Undaunted keys and you have a lot of, and you want to get gold for them immediately, I would focus on these two shoulders. Now, I would again always roll for Urglurk's Mystery Coffer. Have the hard mode clear for Shipwright's Regret, so that way you can roll for higher odds to get this shoulder. But also, too, if you also happen to have Graven Deep's hard mode clear, and you're doing this right now when you watch the video, your mystery coffers are going to be juiced for both of those items odds, so it's worth rolling for both of them, to be completely honest. And mercenary motifs sell well. All this other Hubble Beloved that's at the bottom sells well for the mystery coffer items. Probably your best bet. Now, farming is going to be interesting because we saw that a lot of them don't have a crazy amount of value to actually go out and get the mask. I think Balor's is probably going to be the best one, and it's not a really easy dungeon to go through, especially if you're farming it with random people, or worse, your friends David and Brandon and Travis. I mean, that's like putting together the C team. So unfortunately, unless your friends have thumbs, it can be a little bit more tricky to go through those types of dungeons, but Balor's definitely has more value to it. But if you want to wait to the end of the month to roll for some shoulders, you can always roll for Celine's shoulder after the Undaunted Celebration event. And or you've watched this video and you're like, Jake, I don't know if I want to farm any of these dungeons. The Undaunted Celebration event is going to give us some good rewards, and it's going to be a lot easier. You could just farm Fungal Grotto 1 the whole time, get a bunch of reward boxes, get a bunch of Undaunted keys, and just run it through, and that'll be really easy for you. So overall, you have tons of options throughout this month to farm different things and get some rare exclusive items. We also have some returning Crown Store items that I think are pretty cool. Panther Fang Chapel is my bread and butter, but this video has gone on for very long just because there's been so many farms to talk about. So thank you guys so much again for watching. We're doing our quick 3 giveaway drawings. All you need to do is like the video and be subscribed / leave a comment on the video for 2 drawings for those things. And the third thing is look for a hidden word be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to find and comment that word, you will win. I will tell you though, sometimes a little bit sneaky. Sometimes I add it into the timestamps. And if you don't mind giving me some feedback on timestamps, tell me what type of timestamps you want. I know that a lot of you guys like them, but I don't know how frequently you like them. I don't know how much detail you want inside of them. So any feedback on that is always helpful so we can keep moving the channel forward. Thank you guys again, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.